Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one, coming to you with a Tuesday market recap. Hope everybody had a very beautiful day. And in today's markets, guys, well, we did have a little bit of red across the board. Only really Apple coming in to save the day, pretty much lifting the market up on its own at this point. Keep in mind, guys, tomorrow is a very, very important day. We have two specific data releases tomorrow in terms of CPI in the morning and then an interest rate decision with Jerome Powell, after which we will get to hear his comments on the economy, the jobs market, and the most recent inflation data as well. So very, very huge day for tomorrow, guys. Just in consideration, going to be quite a volatile one as well. Here is your expected move for the S&P 500 tomorrow, and that is going to be pretty much 1% up or down. And even on the QQQs, guys, you can see the expected move about 1.1% up or down. So going to be a fairly volatile way to say fairly volatile day to say the least. And I do believe that these expected moves could be a little bit light, especially in the event that the CPI comes in less good than expected. Now, keep in mind, guys, in terms of our CPI trend, we are currently sitting around 3.4% for the month of April, and the expectation for tomorrow is once again 3.4% year-over-year comparisons. So it goes without saying, guys, that if for whatever which reason we come in above 3.4, especially anything above 3.5, the top end of this tiny little range we've been stuck in for the last 6 months, it is definitely not going to be a very good catalyst for the market. But if we come in line or slightly below 3.4, like 3.3, that is definitely going to be a very good event. And Jerome Powell will probably be quite pleased with that, especially in the afternoon session when he goes over commentary specific to interest rates and inflation. So in today's video, guys, we're going to take a look at a few things. Number one, I have prepared an earnings report, and that is going to be for Oracle Corporation, coming in with their earnings after hours today and performing very, very well, I might add. So we're going to tackle that first. Thereafter, we're going to get into our major market rundown in terms of technical analysis on our major market indexes right here, then dive in to our big tech names. In terms of the portfolio update, guys, no real portfolio update today. Didn't make too many trades, but I will let you guys know exactly what I did in terms of hedging my portfolio for tomorrow's action, and I'll do that at the tail end of the video. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into today's video. SPY up about 0.24%, QQQ up 0.69%, but the rest of the market really lagging behind a little bit, guys. You can see that even better expressed in the heat map, right? Big tech really running away for it today for a large portion of the day. Actually, big tech was faring a lot worse than this, right? Google and Meta were pretty much almost flat. Microsoft wasn't up that much. It really was only Apple with a huge bright spot. And the only reason Apple was up so much, guys, is just it got a number of analyst upgrades after yesterday's developer conference in which they showcased their new AI features. And a lot of analysts have pretty much confirmed what I had been thinking all along, that this does represent a large enough catalyst to represent a larger upgrade cycle for a lot of consumers trying to get the new AI iPhones, which are pretty much going to be released in 2025. So that is why you had a huge jump on Apple stock today. A little bit of a delayed reaction. We were maybe expecting yesterday to be the reaction to this news, but apparently all the analyst upgrades came in this morning and really did a great job in lifting the stock higher, 7.26% on the day. Fantastic day for Apple. But as a whole, guys, the market did pretty much end up bleeding, especially the bottom half. Financials down a tremendous amount. XLF Healthcare not doing its part in holding up the markets either, and the bottom half of the market really not having the best day at all. Today was just largely a story of big tech holding up the market when the rest of the market was weak. You can see that even better on the one-day relative performance in terms of our sectors here. Technology and communication services. Communication services always led by Google and Meta, by the way. They were the only two winners on the day. Everything else pretty much in the red, which gives us a 1 week balanced performance, guys. Everything very, very mixed leading into tomorrow's data event. So going to be a very good one. Now let's jump right into our first earnings, or our only earnings that we have for the day. And that is going to be for Oracle Corporation. So Oracle Corporation coming in the after hours here, guys, with a huge move to the upside, almost 10% worth of gains, and they absolutely crushed it. Take a look here. They did have a little bit of a miss here, guys, on the earnings and revenue numbers by a slight tiny little margin right here, 1% miss on EPS and a little 1% miss on revenue right there. The reason I say they crushed it, guys, is because of the amount of deals that they were able to get during the quarter and their guidance for the remainder of the rest of the quarters of this year into the end of the year. Absolutely crushed it for guidance. That's why they're up so substantially. Now, quick little notes on Oracle, guys. They're the largest cloud analytics provider in the game, the most trusted by all of your big tech. They have an absolutely massive backlog of orders, which we're going to take a look at very briefly. Very decent net margins as well for the company, right? Company always pretty much posting 18-20% bottom line margins. Very, very good. Very decent free cash flow as well. Take a look at their free cash flow numbers as well by quarter. You can see that pretty much on a quarterly basis, they're able to bring in anywhere between $3 to $5 billion in a standard quarter. So that is a boatload of money. The only problem with this company, guys, is that they have a large amount of debt. Most of that debt has been stemming pretty much from building out capacity for all of your large tech players, right? Building out a ton of data centers over the past few years. That has been a heavy capital expenditure for them, which is why they run a little bit high debt, in my opinion. $90 billion of debt, guys. Even when you're a company like Oracle that brings in around $50 billion a year and $9 billion in net income, that is still a lot of debt. The growth metrics, however, are fairly good. So let's take a look at the article right now. Oracle shares jump on Google and OpenAI deals despite the earnings miss. Now we're going to go through this article, but only provide commentary from management, and then we're going to dive really into a few of the things that they pointed out in their direct earnings report. So in terms of what management had to say, speaking about the use of Oracle databases, right, for cloud providing services such as Azure or Amazon Web Services or even Google Cloud, right? Here's what they had to say. The adoption of Oracle's databases has actually been really, really strong, said the executive vice president in charge of cloud infrastructure for Oracle. Now, they would love to do the same thing with AWS. Some of their largest partners right now, guys, are Microsoft and Google, but they still have not got a flagship deal with AWS. So Larry Ellison, Oracle's co-founder, he said, we would love to do the same thing with AWS. And if they get that contract, guys, it is going to be absolutely massive. Keep in mind, AWS has the largest cloud infrastructure in the entire world right now, and it's not even really close. AWS has 30%, guys, of all cloud computing capacity in the world right now. Microsoft Azure has about 10, 11, 12%, and Google right around there as well. So it's really not close. If they can get this deal with Amazon, it's going to be a tremendous good thing for the stock. Now, many e-commerce companies, depending on Oracle's database, would like to embrace AI to deliver a better shopping experience and conversational commerce. Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian said himself, a former top-ranking Oracle executive. So very, very cool there, right? That he's at Google now, but used to be at Oracle. It used to be quite complex for them to do that. Now it will be trivial for them to do that in terms of providing the necessary cloud infrastructure to run all of these large language models, store the data, and then analyze the data as well, right? That's what Oracle is very, very good at. Not only are they very good at providing cloud infrastructure services in terms of data storage, but they're tremendously good at analyzing the data, which is arguably 95% of the work, right? Now, here's what the CEO had to say of Oracle. We are working as quickly as we can to get cloud capacity built out, given the enormity of our backlog and pipeline. This is very true, guys. They have so much demand. They just cannot keep up. They've been saying it for 2 quarters running in a row. Most of their quarterly output right now is essentially for Microsoft Azure. So imagine if Amazon actually gets a partnership with them as well. They're going to have so many future billings, guys. It's going to get a little bit crazy for Oracle. Now, in terms of Q4, total remaining performance obligations for the remainder of this year, 2025, it is up 44%, their largest increase in RPOs. This is how much money they have in the pipeline to build out for companies, right? $98 billion. That is 2 full years worth of revenue for Oracle. Extremely good. Now, further comments from our management team here. In Q3 and Q4, Oracle signed the largest sales contracts in our history, driven by enormous demand for training AI large language models in the Oracle Cloud. Throughout fiscal year 2025, here's the guidance. I expect continued strong AI demand to push Oracle sales and RPO, the amount of billings they have left, even higher and result in double-digit revenue growth in this fiscal year. I also expect that each successive quarter should grow faster than the previous quarter as Oracle capacity begins to catch up with demand. In Q4 alone, Oracle signed over 30 AI sales contracts totaling more than $12.5 billion, including one with OpenAI to train ChatGPT in the Oracle Cloud. So there is your big partnership with Microsoft Azure, and as a byproduct, ChatGPT as well, since obviously you guys guys know, OpenAI is now under the Microsoft umbrella. Now, our multi-cloud cooperation with Microsoft expanded significantly in Q4 as we agreed to work together to support OpenAI and ChatGPT, and 11 of the 12 Oracle data centers we are building inside Azure went live. Very, very good. As customers continue to choose and use multiple clouds, hyperscalers like Microsoft and Google are responding by interconnecting their clouds. Oracle recently signed an agreement with Google to interconnect our clouds and initially build 12 Oracle data centers inside the Google Cloud. We expect the Oracle database to be available within Google Cloud in September of this year. So very, very, very good for them here, guys. So far, Microsoft was their biggest client that they've been building for, but as you can see now, they're now building infrastructure for Google next, and hopefully as well, that carries into Amazon. If they can get Amazon as a partner, guys, as I said, it's going to be absolutely crazy for the stock. Now, in terms of some numbers, guys, just a few numbers to highlight, right? We're not going to go over these in much in detail, but I just wanted to highlight one thing for fiscal year 2024, right? So here is a breakdown of their lines of business. You can see cloud services and license support represents 74% of all revenues. That segment was up a very healthy 12%. And even the rest of the segments here, guys, the lower segments, well, a lot of them weren't performing too well. You can see they've actually declined year over year. So really doing a great job in their major line of business. And that is pretty much due to the heavy partnerships that they have with the so-called hyperscalers. Think Microsoft, think Google as well, right? So all in all, total revenue up 6% year over year, but they have to be a little bit careful, in my opinion, here. Your operating expenses for cloud service and license support, that is 18% of all revenue. That was up 21%. So that actually outpaced the increase in revenue, guys. They have to do a better job of managing these costs. Now, even though these costs were a little bit higher here, guys, you can see that on a bottom line percentage, even though they had a little bit higher expenses here, they had lower expenses elsewhere, which did kind of help them to increase their bottom line net margins from 17% last year to 20%. But this is the only thing I wanted to highlight here, guys, because as they're growing top line revenue, they still need to keep their costs under control. Even if the rest of their costs are going down, this one is still your largest contributor to costs. So they need to be doing a better job of keeping this under control, in my opinion. So that's just everything I had to say in terms of Oracle. All in all, very, very nice company, guys. Nothing bad to say about them. Tremendous growth ahead of the company for sure. Now, in terms of valuation here, guys, with the PE, in consideration with their growth, right? Let's take their growth in consideration, right? So EPS nicely expanding over the next couple of years, and revenue as well forecasted to nicely expand, especially with their new partnerships with the big tech names, right? Now, in terms of that gives them a forward PE of 2024 at $135 right now of about 21.9. And when we put that on a common denominator, when we divide the PE by their EPS growth per year, it gives them about a PEG ratio of 1.56. Just a quick reminder, anything under 1 is very cheap. Between 1 and 2 is okay, and over 2 becomes a little bit rich. So at 1.56, it's really not that bad, even if the company is, ripping through all-time highs right now at about 136. So as of now, it's going to be a really bit tough for me to really buy this one since we're pretty much at the all-time highs right here, 135, 136. A better trade opportunity, if you're a long-term believer in Oracle, may just be looking for a retest of your all-time high area as support. Think 125 all the way maybe down even to 120. This whole section right here, if we do get the breakout and then potentially retest this area to the downside, this could be a very juicy entry for a little bit of a swing trade opportunity in Oracle, or maybe even to build a long-term position. However, I would not chase it right now at the all times. Just personally, it just doesn't fit my trading style. But amazing report by Oracle and amazing things to come down in the pipeline. Hopefully you understood that from management's tone. They really do believe that all these quarters left in the year should be very, very good, and 2025 should be a record year for them as well. So tremendous job by the company in terms of its most recent performance. Now, moving into our technical analysis portion of the video here, guys, well, obviously, it's going to be very tough to derive price action levels, especially due to the volatility of tomorrow's event, CPI, and the Federal Reserve minutes, right? So what's going to be very important to do, guys, is it's going to be very tough to predict the event. What we should rather do, as what I focus mostly on the channel, guys, is not necessarily predicting market direction. It is reacting to certain levels if ever we get there. And tomorrow, for all intents and purposes, guys, my gut feeling is that it is going to be an event to sell pretty much either which way. And let me explain. If for whatever reason it's an extremely bullish event, CPI comes in lower than expected, and Jerome Powell is pretty dovish, right? That could propulse us into an all-time high. An extra 1.5% move to the upside here, guys, would really bring us into overbought territory on the S&P 500 and could just be a little bit of a topping out event for the markets, after which we may just have to find a little bit of consolidation. So that's why I say after tomorrow's potentially record performance, right, may just be time for us to cool off a little bit, because we are at the all-time highs right now. The 4 hours are on the verge of being overbought. Even the 1 hour time frames on the verge of being overbought as well. And if we get a plus 1.5% day tomorrow, I do believe that that is definitely going to hit us into the all-time highs, but it's going to leave us overbought. So after tomorrow may just be a little chance to cool off the markets. And all these guys, if tomorrow's negative, well, we're going to have none of that, right? It's just going to be a straight flush down, and then we're going to be looking to the lower levels to really act as support on the SPY, talking about 525 down to about 518. A 1.5% move to the downside, guys, could maybe take us right down here into the previous 530 level, right? So going to be very, very curious to watch the outlays of tomorrow. But as of now, your bulls are in full control. Daily uptrend mode is pretty much established. Our daily higher lows are pretty much right down here at the lows of the last 3 days of trading. So it'll be very, very interesting to see tomorrow. If we lose these into tomorrow, daily downtrend is started, and then we start a little bit of weekly consolidation, and then we'd be looking to protect these lows down here. Anything above 518, just going to be looking for a weekly higher low for potentially further trend continuation down the line. So that's just how I see things for tomorrow. Now, QQQ, largely the same, right? QQQ, keep an eye on this. Coming into tomorrow, overbought conditions on the daily, slightly overbought conditions on the 4 hour, and even the 1 hour, guys, getting slightly overbought conditions, which is why I do believe if tomorrow is a blast off type of day, may just be in for a little bit of consolidation to end the week. That being said, we are in a very nice daily uptrend right now, pushing through the all-time highs. Daily higher lows are right here, 461.17. So if you do continue those, guys, we're going to be looking for any pullback to be a higher low above that 461.18 level. Now, if for whatever reason tomorrow is a negative day in the markets and we roll over, well, then daily consolidation will be underway, and we'll be really zooming out to the weekly charts thereafter to protect these weekly higher lows, 443.39, to really protect this weekly uptrend. Any move lower, in my opinion, could be met with heavy bull support. 12 EMA is right there, and we start our big level of support, 447 down to about 435. So keep an eye on these levels here tomorrow, guys. 454, 450 for potential downside continuation by your bears. 1.5% to the downside from here could really lead us back into maybe, the 460, 462 level, but any further continuation down there, I do believe it will be met with big support starting at least 455 down to about 450. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Moving on to financials right now. Financials really starting to break down, right? So daily downtrend was underway. We had a little bit of an engulfing move by the bulls. We were looking to break this to the upside, but they just couldn't get it done. Now breaking these lows, you guys know what that means. Daily downtrend is now underway, and we are now once again in further weekly consolidation. But we have to be very careful here, guys. The weekly higher lows are right here. 40.75. If we close the week below these levels, weekly downtrend is underway. And then unfortunately, we are just plunged into further monthly consolidation. In my opinion, probably going to be a tightening range at the top. Maybe not a necessarily huge monthly downtrend to start it off, but some sideways consolidation at the top on financials. I would not be surprised, especially since interest rates have really been a bit of a tedious trade in the last few days, right? Big downswing, huge upswing, and now we're pretty much in an area of indecision. All of that is going to deeply rely on the Federal Reserve's comments tomorrow in terms of the direction of interest rates. If things are bad tomorrow here, guys, expect us to break potentially down towards these lows, and then we'll be looking for line in the sand number 1, 40.2, and number 3, 39.53 to really act as our last lines of defense here, guys. This one right here, in my opinion, 40.67 will be the weekly determining factor here. And if we get too close to these two levels here, guys, you may just be in jeopardy of even losing the monthly uptrend if we close below 39.57. Now, a lot of trading left before then. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen. Just trying to, set an expectation for any direction specifically, right? Moving on to XLV right now. So XLV, as opposed to XLF, has tons of space for any consolidation. Beautiful daily engulfing move. Any move lower, just going to be looking to set the higher low, anything above 140.69, looking for the higher low for the potential trend continuation. If tomorrow's negative and we come come down to these levels, there is some good support in this range right here. 12 EMA sitting at about 145, and we have the 26 right down here about 144.63, and our line, horizontal line prior support is going to be newfound support as well for the bulls. So it could just be a little bit of a breakout retest trade into these levels before maybe trying and testing higher. If for whatever reason tomorrow is really bad, we start off with a daily downtrend, you guys know the drill. Tons of space now on the weekly. Any move lower, just going to be looking for a higher low, anything above 141, looking for the weekly higher low for that eventual trend continuation. Area of confluence, once again, our prior line of support, 144.60, down to the weekly 12 EMA, 144. This little pocket right here is where I expect the bulls to play a lot more defense. Moving into semiconductors right now. Semiconductors, green candle, but a red day, right? That's just because yesterday we closed pretty much at the all-time highs. No red flags whatsoever, guys. The biggest event for semiconductors, although we do have a very big day tomorrow, arguably the biggest event for semiconductors this week is pretty much going to be the earnings for Broadcom, which is going to be tomorrow after the close, right? So huge day in the markets as a whole tomorrow. Daily uptrend is well protected in motion right now. Our daily higher lows are set right here, 250.42. Now, one of two things tomorrow is going to happen, guys. Either we're just going to continue and break to all new all-time highs, and your daily uptrend will continue. That's the easy case. In terms of the hard case, right, it will maybe be a break of these lows, 249.74 to the downside. Daily downtrend will commence at that point, and then you will have a little bit of weekly consolidation. Weekly consolidation, in my opinion, if it really gets heated, right, we may pull down into the 239, this pocket right here between our prior all-time high and the top end of this range of resistance, right? Call it between 239 and 233, right where your 12 weekly EMA is. That could be a nice little retest area for your bulls. If for whatever reason tomorrow, if we have bad data and bad AVGO earnings, we'll expect semiconductors to start pulling back a considerable amount, and then we could see that weekly pullback right down here. Just going to be looking for a weekly higher low, anything above 198 pretty much for that weekly higher low for the eventual trend continuation. So all in all, bulls still in control. We're just trying to forecast if ever we have a very negative event, what could be the potential ramifications of that. Moving on to the Russell right now. The Russell down about 0.62%, trying to find a bottom, guys. Where's the Russell trying to find a bottom? Well, take a look. It is your classic area that we've been stuck in pretty much for the last 2 years, right? So this previous support, resistance again, congestion over here. Well, the bulls are trying to play defense once again in this location. That being said, daily downtrend right now is pretty much clear as day. So as soon as we get a little bit of a move higher, we need to measure the size of the bounce in relation to 205. As of now, no bounce is really underway yet. I would need to see a bounce at least to the moving averages right here at around 202, 203 to give the bulls a sizable enough bounce. That would be pretty much between a 618 and a 782 retracement. It would give the bulls a very good chance of resetting into a new daily uptrend and putting an end to this brutal weekly consolidation that we've been in for the past 4 weeks, trying to find the weekly higher lows, anything above 191.50, trying to find those weekly higher lows to really set the weekly uptrend and challenge this big 212 prior support current resistance level. So tomorrow, guys, highly dependent sector on the direction of interest rates and inflation. So keep a big eye, guys. If these two events are negative tomorrow, do not expect good things from the Russell. But if these two things are positive, I do expect the Russell to run most or more than most of your average indexes. Moving into the Dow Jones right now, Dow Jones down about 0.31% today. Dow Jones still trying to find its daily higher low to get the daily trend change going. We came into it today here, guys. Take a look on the 1 hour. Big gap down open on the morning. What are the bulls trying to do? Trying to now reverse into an hourly trend change. If we can get the hourly trend change tomorrow, your daily higher lows are set, and we're going to be looking to take out these highs right here, 39,000, to really set the daily uptrend in motion, put an end to this weekly consolidation, set the weekly higher lows, and start making an attempt here to get the weekly trend up going and start challenging these previous all-time highs. So the bulls playing a great amount of defense in this location right here, as we've laid out on the channel, right? Prior big support should now be acting as support from the bulls, and they are reacting from it nicely, but the job is not done. Give me that weekly daily uptrend, and then we will know our weekly bottoms are most likely set, and then we can maybe look for another leg for an attempt higher into your all-time highs. So all in all, not looking too bad for the Dow Jones. My only thing with the Dow Jones here, guys, is the size of this bounce is only 50%, right? Yes, the bulls do have a decent chance of doing this, but they would have a lot better chance, guys, if the bounce came all the way up here for a 618 or all the way up here. They would have a much better probability of setting that in motion for good, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Now let's look into crypto a little bit, because crypto took a little bit of a bath yesterday, right? So what we were having in Bitcoin was really looking to make the all-time high attempt again, right into last week, looking for a nice daily uptrend. And unfortunately, guys, we came down looking for the daily higher low, looking for the trend expansion, but it did not happen, guys. Daily downtrend once again set, and we're challenging our prior areas, guys. This prior line right here, I've kept it on the chart for a long time now. It is exactly the prior all-time highs, right? That is where we're looking to find a little bit of a base of support at. We haven't really taken out these lows too much. Yes, there was a little stop hunt attempt, which came below the lows, but no closes down below there yet. So we'll keep an eye on this. As of now, daily downtrend in motion. And as of now, guys, weekly consolidation in motion as well. After such an extended weekly downtrend, we had a nice bullish engulfing move. Now the bulls have enough space to set up for a weekly higher low, pretty much anything above 57,000 for all intents and purposes. Anything above that, going to be looking for a weekly higher low to continue this weekly uptrend and really continue this monthly uptrend higher after about 4 months of consolidation. Not yet ready in crypto yet. And that's just because, guys, still a lot of uncertainty surrounding the US dollar and surrounding interest rates, right? Those two things have a heavy impact on Bitcoin because Bitcoin represents a risk on trade. And so far, we haven't really seen a pivot to the risk on trade from most institutions. Moving on to Ethereum right now, Ethereum breaking through its prior range of support, right? So we had labeled this on the chart, 3,700 all the way down to about 3,500. The bears really just smashing through it after we had very healthy consolidation at the top, tightening range pretty much at the top. Unfortunately now, daily downtrend has commenced, which means we are in for weekly consolidation, right? So weekly downtrend was underway. Huge engulfing move. Now the bulls have a ton of space, guys. Anything pretty much above 2860, looking for a weekly higher low for the potential continuation of the trend north. Now, we do have one little element right down here, the weekly 12 EMA, to act as a first line of defense. But thereafter, guys, there's not much because this pretty much didn't even set any supports. If we do come down to a level beneath that, guys, this one right here seems to be a pretty good one for me. 33, 3,200, right around this line right here. You can see how many times it respected it here. Here is resistance as well. That could be maybe a next destination for Ethereum in the event we really pull back a ton more, right? So keep your eyes peeled for both those locations. I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum for the remainder of the year and into 2025. But as I said, guys, until the market really green lights the risk on trade, so basically when you see the Russell start flying, when you've seen unprofitable growth stocks start flying once again, you will know that the money is there for risk on. So far, it really is not established yet. Moving into Apple right now, let's move into big tech. So give me a quick second. All right, so moving into Apple. Apple doing a great job here today, as I said, off the back of analyst upgrades because of its huge potential upgrade cycle coming within the next year. Apple now breaching towards all-time highs. Congratulations to all bulls, especially those of you who have pretty much followed my channel, right? We were buying the dips so heavy, guys. Every time Apple came down into this lower 170 area, I was saying it was a no-brainer trade, and the rest is pretty much history, right? Apple, you know, people can say what they want about the stock, but it will always defy expectations. Don't forget, they have the largest stock buyback program in the history of the market, and that has to count for something, right? So daily uptrend right now, clear as day, right? So looking very good. Any move lower, as soon as this move is topped out, which is kind of getting a little toppish, right? I'm very surprised that the daily indicator on the RSI is not more overbought than this right now, but coming into overbought conditions. 4 hour, a little bit overbought conditions as well. And even your 1 hour, I mean, you know, Apple with an RSI towards 80 is a little bit overbought. So if ever Apple decides to take a little bit of a breather when this move is topped out, we'll be looking for a daily higher low, anything above 192.25, looking for the daily higher low for the trend continuation. Now, a type of trade that I would like to do on Apple is, let's say, if we start retesting the prior all-time highs. And guys, that's a fair ways away for Apple right now. We're talking about 5% to the downside, right? I don't expect Apple to move up this much in one day and give it all back. Usually Apple doesn't do that. But if for whatever reason the markets after tomorrow's economic data release, if the markets see a little bit of a weakness, right, for 1 week, maybe we see a little bit of a trickle down effect for Apple, right? If we can come back down here as close as possible to maybe 200, 198, I may be tempted to just take a little bit of a retest trade for the continuation north. That's the type of trade that I'd be looking out for on Apple. But so far, bulls in control of everything. Monthly uptrend confirmed, right? Monthly beautiful uptrend. Weekly, not even going to talk about it, guys. Huge weekly breakout, and the daily uptrend is gorgeous as well. So congratulations to all the Apple bulls out there. Moving on to AMD right now. AMD struggling, still struggling on AMD, right? But not that big of a deal. We are still relatively within our range of consolidation. Yes, we did break the lows a little bit today, but we came back up and closed within our tight range, 158 all the way up to about 165. This location was a big prior area of support for AMD back in January and February, so we're expecting it to pretty much do the same. Now, AMD is in a little bit of a daily downtrend, so if the bulls want to reverse, they have to do everything from scratch, right? Need to have an engulfing move to the upside, reset the daily into a daily uptrend, and only then can we talk about the weekly lows potentially being set and moving on to the weekly uptrend shift. We are currently in a nice little weekly uptrend right now, still hunting for those new weekly higher lows for the past 3 weeks, right? So the bulls do have a decent amount of space still, anything above 149. Looking for the weekly higher low for further trend continuation. But so far, looking like the bulls are fairly they're just playing defense, right? They're not really playing offense right now. That's what we need to see them do. That being said, if AMD continues grinding down to these lower levels, guys, I think this represents an amazing buying opportunity. AMD pretty much in the lower 150s to 140s, super juicy location to be placing trades, in my opinion, which is why you see me play so many short puts here, guys. 155 down to pretty much 140. I will be trading that location on AMD all day. We are still just looking for an area of monthly consolidation to potentially start up this rally on AMD once again, right? So not all looking bad right now on AMD. Still a very nice monthly uptrend. The month of June obviously hasn't started that well, but we are still in a monthly uptrend. The weekly, although we are in a bit of a weekly uptrend right now, looking fairly weak in the past 3 weeks of trading, right? And the daily as well, kind of looking a bit weak as well. So I do want to bet more money on AMD if we come down here. I do believe that they're being left behind in the industry right now, but I don't think that that's going to last forever. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. And the valuation, guys, the valuation on AMD really isn't that bad. At 160, we're pretty much trading around a 1.31 peg. That's not that bad for 35% EPS growth for the next foreseeable future. Now, moving on to Amazon. Amazon having a decent day today. Nothing spectacular, right? But just doing what Amazon does best, grinding the levels higher. So I'll remind you, we were in a big daily downtrend right now, engulfing move by the bulls, and still no retest for a daily higher low for the daily uptrend shift. Just one big daily move. So if ever Amazon decides to consolidate a little bit, we have some very juicy areas below us now, guys. All of the moving averages are right here between 183 and 180. And then we have this huge prior big area of support right here, talking about 180 to about 177. So a lot of support below us. As soon as we pull back, looking for a higher low, anything above 174, looking for that daily higher low for the continuation of the daily uptrend. This little retest, if Amazon pulls back into the 180, 181 area, I will be making a little bit of a swing trade there for the continued daily trend expansion. In terms of your weekly still looking good. Weekly uptrend currently in motion right now, eyeing the all-time high area. And as I said, guys, this previous green box right here, prior all-time resistance, should be acting as great support for the bulls for the foreseeable future, even if the market goes through a little bit of a downturn here in the next week or two after potentially negative data. No clear direction on that yet, right? The data could be completely bullish and Amazon's just going to blast off. But if ever this leads to a little bit of a correction in the markets here, I do believe Amazon will have a great probability of protecting this zone. Moving on to Google right now. Google also up about 1% on the day. Google looking very solid right now, right? So I'll remind you, still in the process of looking for the new daily uptrend, daily downtrend back here, engulfing move, daily higher low, now looking to change the trend back to the upside, right? So one of two things is going to happen. If tomorrow is very bullish, Google's just going to do what Google does best, move on to a new daily uptrend and maybe a new all-time high, and just continue on this gorgeous weekly uptrend that we've pretty much been in now for a very long time, right? Ever since this level right here in the month of March, pretty much, right? Gorgeous weekly uptrend. However, if tomorrow is negative, could expect a little bit of fallback on Google. If we don't break the highs and break yesterday's lows, that would be an official daily downtrend commenced, and then we'll be looking maybe for a little bit further weekly consolidation, but we have to be careful now because Google's levels are very close, 171.41. Break that to the downside, weekly downtrend is underway. We have a little bit of monthly consolidation here, guys. In my opinion, Google could be a very good pickup if ever that consolidation lasts for a few weeks, because Google's been on a monster of a rally, right? If we come down for ever which reason, right? I'm not saying it's going to get there, But if it comes there, 165 to 160, I will be buying Google all day and swing trading it from there. Moving on to Meta right now. Meta looking extremely good today, 0.97% to the upside. Really smashed through this location right here last week, right? 482, big level of resistance, right? This was huge support, huge resistance for the bulls. Now we're officially through it. So daily uptrend is clearly underway right now. And as soon as this move is topped out, just going to be looking for a daily higher low, anything above 453, daily higher low for further trend continuation. Now, if the markets are negative tomorrow, Meta may come down into my preferred area to make this trade. If, for every which reason, we come down over the next few days and retest the 585 or 485, 482 levels, I will be looking to make a little bit of a swing trade attempt. Entry goes here, stop loss below the lows right here, and I'll be targeting the all-time highs and beyond. That is my trade type opportunity on Meta right now. Huge support, obviously horizontal support, but all of the moving averages are there as well. And as well, we are in a gorgeous weekly uptrend. So any move lower on the weekly, going to be looking for a weekly higher low, anything above 455, weekly higher low for the continuation of this beautiful, beautiful weekly uptrend, looking very, very solid on Meta. Now, moving on to Microsoft. Microsoft also having a tremendous day today, 1.12% to the upside, and Microsoft just a monster right now, right? Pretty much tapping the all-time highs, very, very close. Fully engulfing move. They had a daily downtrend right here, fully engulfing it right now. And this is just one move, no daily uptrend set just yet. We would need to pull back, set a daily higher low, and then move on to the daily uptrend for it to be confirmed, right? So all in all, Microsoft looking very good. When this move is done, we're going to be looking for any pullback to be just for a daily higher low, anything above 409. Daily higher low for further trend continuation. The best type of trade on Microsoft could just be a break of the all-time highs to the upside and then retest the all-time highs as support and then run. That could be a nice little trade entry setup right here, and your stops would pretty much go below these guys right here, right below here at about 420, because that would pretty much invalidate the entire breakout, right? So a little bit of a swing trade opportunity on Microsoft beyond the all-time highs, a little bit risky for all-time high continuation, but that's pretty much the only trade setup I see on Microsoft right now. The only other one would be if ever we give back this entire move and start retesting 414, 410, then I would take that solely based off of a weekly retest maybe of these lower locations right here, setting a weekly higher low for a little bit of a future run, right? Now, give me a quick second. I'm going to move on to Netflix. Oops, excuse me. All right, so looking at Netflix looking very, very solid here today, guys. Nothing bad to say, right? So Netflix up about 0.63%, looking extremely bullish. Consolidation at the top, right? Not much in terms of price action, very muted. So one thing's for sure, guys. If they break 659 to the upside, daily uptrend resumes, and then we will be looking for the weekly uptrend expansion. This has been a weekly bull flag, 2-3 weeks in the making right now, whereby the bulls eclipsed their previous 52-week highs. We're now using them as support, and the bulls not giving back too much at all, right? Looking like a bull flag for further trend continuation. That is the upside scenario. The downside scenario would be a break of yesterday's low, which would be an official daily downtrend, and then you just once again be looking for the weekly higher lows, right? So still in a bit of weekly consolidation until we get that confirmed breakout. Any move to the downside would not be bad. In my opinion, the lowest maybe Netflix can test is the 12 EMA to the lower end of this box of support, 605. So call it 615 to 605 could be a nice trade opportunity for that weekly trend continuation. Moving on to NVIDIA right now. So NVIDIA, well, I don't know when they're going to erase this candle on my trading view, but this candle did not happen, guys. Really ending there yesterday, right? So in terms of NVIDIA, guys, no real red flags. 0.72% to the downside, but still such a gorgeous daily uptrend right now on NVIDIA, right? So two potential scenarios, guys. One, we just continue this daily uptrend into the all-time highs, no harm, no foul. But the scenario that a lot of people are potentially looking into is a failure of the all-time highs and break to the downside. That would be the first daily downtrend since pretty much all the way back here, right? And it would be a daily downtrend if we break yesterday's low. Daily downtrend, that would mean weekly consolidation would be underway. And there's so much space on the weekly, guys, anything above 75, just looking for that weekly higher low for the further trend continuation. I've drafted this line on the chart right now, 107 to about 105. That is your previous 1070, 1050 location. I have not moved this line in a while on the chart right now. That is going to be probably Confluence. It is now your daily 26 EMA, but the weekly probably going to curl up into this location as well. That is maybe where we get the weekly higher low for NVIDIA, because the location, the true support level below us, guys, is about 95. And I think that's a bit low for NVIDIA, right? That would be pretty much a 20% move to the downside. And I really don't see that happening unless semiconductors really have a big correction for every which reason, right? Now, moving on to Tesla. Tesla breaking down here today, guys, 1.8% to the downside. Tesla, unfortunately, breaking the big barrier of support that we've pretty much set over the last month. Obviously, Tesla is going to have a very volatile week, guys. Tomorrow, all of these points of data are Tesla specific. Interest rates, inflation, they affect Tesla the most. And then on Thursday, you guys know, the day after, they have the $56 billion compensation package vote for Elon Musk. So the next 2 days on Tesla, guys, are going to be extremely volatile. If you're playing this one, be very careful. It can go either way, right? So in terms of your technicals, guys, not that the technicals matter, just because the technicals, guys, tomorrow and Thursday with the vote could completely undo any technical analysis that I would do right now, just because of the size of the moves that could potentially occur, right? 5, 6, 7% up or down. Very tough to predict which way. As of now, though, daily downtrend, the key area of support to protect at this point, guys, is going to be 162, 160. Huge location, and I'll explain why, guys. If we close down below here in the 165 location, well, number one, we'll be losing the weekly uptrend. Yes, close the weekly candle below 168 and you officially have lost the weekly trend change attempt that we were looking for, right? It will now be lost in the favor of a new weekly downtrend. But if you lose these lows here, guys, there's really not much until the lower 150 range. So hugely important levels for Tesla to protect these weeks. This week, 168 for starters to save the weekly, and then all the way down here, guys, to just save the general area of support as a whole, because below that, there's really not much, right? So Tesla's going to be a very volatile event. And obviously to the upside, guys, upside potential, right? You guys already know the drill. Could have a 100% engulfing move and reset the daily uptrend. And then once again, we'll be looking to attack 185 all the way up to 200, which will be the weekly breakout levels that Tesla has not been able to break out of now for about the past month and a half. Now, the two last ones, Palantir and PayPal. So Palantir, looking pretty good here today, right? 3.11%. And Palantir pretty much came almost exactly into the location that we were looking for on the channel. Daily uptrend broke through our area, right? Broke through this entire box of resistance above your 23. And we were looking, because the shorter term timeframes were a little bit overbought in this location right here. Any pullback would be looking for the daily higher low, anything above 21, daily higher low for further trend continuation. Now, we're double topping right now. No daily, no continuation of the daily uptrend just yet. But tomorrow, if tomorrow's good, expect Palantir to really blast off through here. If tomorrow is bad, guys, well, at least we do have a lot of space here, guys. Anything above 22.65, just going to be maybe looking for a little bit of a daily higher low to continue that trend, or at least a tightening range, right? If for whatever reason we break down below 22.69, daily downtrend will start. And unfortunately, we embark in a bit of weekly consolidation after 2-3 weeks of upside. May just be looking for a little bit of a weekly higher low, anything pretty much above 20.39, weekly higher low for further trend continuation. If we do pull back in here, guys, you know the drill, 21.50 down to $20, $19, the juiciest area to be playing short puts in Palantir, in my opinion, and I will continue trading Palantir if we come down here. But as of now, the bulls looking great for this breakout, holding above our range of support and holding above the moving averages as well. And lastly, PayPal. PayPal, guys, unfortunately, having a 3.5% down day. I think they got an analyst downgrade today, but nevertheless, the entire market everything pretty much except for big tech, right, was red today. So PayPal not having a great day, unfortunately, but they did have a tremendous little rally here. So just looking for a little bit of a pullback, right? Daily uptrend is still underway. Looking for a daily higher low at this point, anything above 62.50, looking for that daily higher low for the trend continuation. This is the area where PayPal needs to find a bottom, guys. We're above the moving averages and we're above this range of consolidation. So they need to find a bottom in this location. Excuse me. Or the bears will take back too much of this move and potentially give them a chance to reset into a daily downtrend and come back into our big box of support, which is 62 all the way down to about 61. So those are just a few of the things to watch out for PayPal. As of now, no clean break as of yet. We need to keep a very, very close eye, guys, on PayPal. How does PayPal close this week? If tomorrow is very bullish for the markets, PayPal is an interest rate sensitive stock, and it could recapture all of today's losses, maybe end the week with a little bit of continuation to the upside. That would be very good, guys, because eventually we will need to break above 67, 68, confirm all time frame breakouts. This would be a weekly trend breakout. It would also be a monthly trend breakout as well. So far, we are just not getting that breakout just yet. And this area right here would be my future buying opportunity zone for the stock. So that's pretty much everything that I had for you guys in terms of our rundown. Now, which trades did I take to potentially hedge a little bit of downside for tomorrow? So I took 2 trades, guys. Number 1, I bought 300 shares. Yes, only 300 shares of SQQQ, right? At the top of the day. I waited really for the end of the day here, guys, to pretty much close, right? And at pretty much the top of the market in the last few hours of trading right here, that is pretty much when I went in, right here. That is pretty much when I went in with my short on the market just to protect some downside, guys. Every single position in my portfolio is a long position. So coming into all-time highs, coming into overbought conditions, I'm just looking for a little bit of protection. So I took 300 shares of SQQQ. That's not even $3,000 of exposure, right? And I got in at 907. There's a little bit better pricing now, but that is just my entry, 907. I'll show it to you guys tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And as well, I also did call options on SQQQ. So let's pull up the NASDAQ right here. Let me see if I can get you guys some of the options pricing that I got on SQQQ. I got them for about 15 cents. I went with the 9.5s. 9.5 is a little bit out of the money, guys. It's not too far out of the money, right? If for whatever reason tomorrow we get a 1.5% downside on the QQQs, that could translate into a 3 to 4.5% move up on the SQQQ, which could bring us up right into my 950 level, especially if the red continues for 1 or more days, right? So SQQQ, I literally went for pretty much next Friday, not this Friday, gave myself a little bit more time, and I went with the 950 calls. I got about 15 cents for them. I only did 10 contracts, guys, nothing big, $150, right? And I'm maybe just looking for these contracts to maybe 2x, not even 2x. Anything above 26, 27 cents, I'll just take my money, my little $100, guys, and pretty much run away with it, right? If for whatever reason tomorrow we open green into the market, my plan is if CPI is pretty bullish tomorrow, we get a huge candle to the upside, I may just take a little bit more SQQQ calls in the event that the FOMC is a sell the news event, right? If there's so much positivity after CPI, well, then they might start pricing in the positivity of the FOMC decision right away. And as a result, I'll probably position for that. I'm really just looking to counter trend trade this one in the event of excess bullishness. So a little bit of a hedge, guys. All in all, $3,000 hedge, right? Not looking to make tremendous amounts of money off of it, just looking to hedge the portfolio. As a matter of fact, the hedge is really, really light for the size of folio that I have. Probably I should be doing 2 times the position that I do have. However, if you ask me, guys, my underlying gut feeling, and this is just a gut feeling, of course, just speculation, right? I really do believe that our CPI is going to come in line or better than expected, and I do believe that Jerome Powell tomorrow will be nice to us, especially after the trends that we've been seeing in the last month and a half in relation to inflation, the economy, and the jobs market. There's really no major red flags at hand here. Are things slowing down a little bit in terms of GDP and jobs? Yes, but that's just a byproduct of Jerome Powell's rates being so high right now, right? So I do believe tomorrow should be a fairly bullish event for the markets. That's why I'm not hedging with too much. But in the edge case scenario that I'm wrong, at least I have a little bit of downside protection. So hopefully that was educational for you guys. That's pretty much everything I had for you guys today. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like. Would really appreciate it for the growth of the channel. Also consider subscribing if you're new, guys. Almost 1,800 of you have subscribed so far. I can't thank each and every one of you enough, guys. Thank you so much for all the support so far. It's been an incredible journey, and I look forward to many months and years to come with you guys in the future as well. And as usual, if you have any questions at all, guys, technical analysis, if you want me to look at a specific stock symbol, leave it down below in the comments, and I'll take care of them Saturday. Every Saturday we do subscriber tickers from now on. And as usual, guys, if you have any other questions, right? If you have an options play that you're considering, anything you want, leave it down below in the questions, and I'll get back to you within the first 24 hours. So take care, guys. Happy trading tomorrow. Please be careful because it will be a very volatile of trading. I wish all of you guys the best luck and hopefully you guys print profits. Take care. See you tomorrow at the close. Peace.